Greetings, fellow pilgrims. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Odyssey, the Pilgrim Ship. Episode 2, Building the Footprint of Our Future. So we have the Quest of the Fleeing Knight, and we're absolutely going to accept that with Liara. The Fleeing Knight is being chased by a prairie dog. His name is Bases. That's a weird name. And I don't really want him doing anything while he's here. You have Words of Trust, Blinding Pulse, and Beckon. Okay. And this is exactly what Liara was referring to, that the royals here are weak and feckless. Why would a knight require protection from a prairie dog? She doesn't understand. This world is full of pathetic people. Wow, you are already so unhappy. And shuttle has arrived. Get in the shuttle and leave us. Done. And now Liara can be granted a knighthood. I, of course, don't have a throne room or an appropriate bedroom, so that is going to be the next main goal. So the current goal is to build a ship. Wow, that's a typo. Befitting a knight. Ratlocker, thank you for the cheer. So we have about 128 Gravelite panels left before we're out of material. And let's do some planning. So the plan here is to have, and I'll probably end up having winglets, but to have internal sections like this for bedrooms. Not the nice bedrooms, but bedrooms. So this one can be for slaves, and this one could be for breakfire. And they don't necessarily need to go right up against the wall here, so I'm going to set them up more like this. So we're going to do some ship planning now. We got bedrooms, and then let's expand these for the winglets, so they can come out like this. And that's going to be big enough for starters. And then the idea is to have Liara have a very luxurious, as far as our ship is concerned, throne room and bedroom. Befitting, of course, for a knight. Alright, as far as the internal power structure in the ship, I don't want my cabling to ever be on the outside, because I don't want it hit by raiders and disrupted. So we're going to have internal power protected by the walls. So once these substructure is built and have all of its material delivered, I'll figure out exactly how many tiles we have left, and then lay out the remainder. But one might assume kind of a big goal of this series is to have one hell of a large ship, because it's going to be able to support essentially Liara's royal court. She is, if this reference resonates with you, she's a bit of a ship mistress, and kind of a rogue trader. All right, we still have more steel, so we got more work to do. And I fixed the symmetry. You are welcome. These aren't bad bedrooms, though. Not terrible. Back here will be the thrusters. And we can actually move these slaves in there immediately. So I'm going to put one slave bed there and one slave bed here. And then we can also move breakfire in there as well. And then make Liara's temporary bedroom a little bit larger. Wouldn't hurt. They're awful bedrooms for now, but they'll improve in time. So I am going to update the home zone. Are wooden doors airtight? All doors are airtight. The other thing that I am missing here, quite obviously, is venting. I should have included it in the design. I failed to, so we're going to have to go back and add them. And then these here are slave beds that need to be redesignated. Alright, there we go. Now, I've got 106 Gravelite panels left, so let's do some planning. I would like... Let's see, we've got 27. I don't want to necessarily use them all, so maybe this is going to be our footprint. So we've got total plan area 82, that's less than 106, so that will do. Of course, we have a lack of steel, so that means Aram will be tasked to go mine some more. There's a lot more steel around, so it's not much of a problem. Once the ship's structure is built, we'll start to stockpile chem fuel and get it flight ready. And then I would like to build Liara's bedroom and throne room. Roughly in that order of operation. Ah, someone wants to challenge us. Challenge accepted. May the dominance begin. The crossbow crows, prepare a while. Oh, there's not enough of you, friends. So we have a great memory aesthetic asexual. Not bad to capture, although they are incapable of dumb labor, but people that are incapable of dumb labor, they're enslaved, will still do dumb labor. And then Lynx, body purist, encyclopedically doll. Alright. Time for some murder. They're not really high up on my priority of people to catch, I would say. One dead. And two dead. No idea why they thought that they could fight me, but they could not. All right, we have Operation Mining going. I'm going to have RM put a torch down so you can not be in the dark. That should help a little bit. And then once we have a little bit more steel, we'll put down the rest of the substructure. Breakfire will probably haul the rest of the structure in place. And then likewise, I hadn't actually updated my home zones. So I'm doing the home zoning now to make sure that the ship is well looked after. Pulling all of the chunks out so they don't block the building. And we probably have enough materials now to at least get some of the building done. So send an RM over to start building the flooring. Yeah, they done brought in some free medicine. And then on top of that, if you saw the way I fought, Liara was the one that killed people, right? In fact, how did I not get credit for both kills? I really don't know. She definitely killed both. She shot their arms off, but somehow or another I only have killed someone one. Let's look at the records here. Yeah, somehow the other kill did not count. Lame. I mean, she's asexual, but so she has a different kind of body count, and we'll be keeping track of that. Breakfire was shooting right at the end. Okay, that probably explains it. Yep, he got a kill too. Just a little kill steal. It's okay, they share. He is a guardsman after all. Okay. Still need a little bit more steel, it seems. But our research into microelectronics is almost a third done. And that's, generally speaking, a pretty difficult one to fulfill. At this point, I'm going to put a stockpile zone here. Call it ship stockpile. And it's going to be for steel and gravlite panels. And that will make it a little bit easier for Aram to build. Is the priority for the stockpile high enough? Yep. Normal is higher than low, if that's what you're wondering. Sending RM over to the steel again, because we have more need of steel. But this is coming together pretty quick. Looking pretty good. Where are you headed? Oh, you're grabbing that one medicine. Okie dokie. Should have grabbed it when you were already down there, but whatever. To each their own. Looks like gravlite panels are a real bottleneck. Really not really. I already have a spot that has more gravlite panels. We just need to travel to. You get them offered to you frequently, and you can also manufacture them yourself. It's, in my experience, extremely easy to source gravlite panels. Once you are slightly established. It's really easy. I think it should be harder, if anything. Alright, we got another work drive, so Liara, take a break from research and scream at RM to work faster. And it worked. He leveled up, and he's mining faster. Alright, changing his priority to construct, because I really want to get the I want to get the outer shell of the ship built so that I can actually start to build the inner infrastructure. And then we'll have Ink start making chem fuel. Because I'll be able to build these things without much risk. The other thing is, it seems like the wind power, even though it's unreliable, has actually managed to keep the lights on, so that's great. And 35, okay, that'll work. Break fire with no other tasks. Oh, get this squirrel out of here. He has a hand talent, if you're wondering. So, like, he's pretty good at just murdering things with his hands. Alright, my people want someone with a Chamberlain role, which is the moral guide, but there's really no one that befits that position, so we're gonna have to find someone eventually. The other thing that the ship yet lacks still is some semblance of a kitchen. Don't worry, I'm aware. Or nutrient paste, one or the other. But nutrient paste wouldn't be good enough for Liara, that's for sure. There we go. We have some of the form factor that we are looking for. Now, in terms of a kitchen, my plan was to actually put it, like, oddly kind of in the middle. And the reason for this is it will be cleaner the further it is from the doors, right? Like, if it's sort of central. So that's the plan. And then I'll chimney out to somewhere internal, and then it will be protected in that way. So right where the stockpile was, can you make a throne room pilot station combination? So if you take a look at the requirements for, like, let's say night, it will say the throne room does not allow, like, other facilities or altars. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the pilot console technically is an altar. We can always move, once the pilot console is built, move that inside and see if move it inside the designated throne room and see if it's a problem. And I'm guessing it will be. Because that's more or less what, like, they would intend. Throne rooms are supposed to be solely dedicated for, Alright, I definitely don't have the gold for that, so let's do a basic marble one initially. Alright, as far as the chimney goes for this thing, I'm going to build it like this, where we have the cooler, and then a steel door chimney that will be internal to the ship. And then likewise, we can do coolers for the ship, built into the same chimney. So it's a shared chimney for a bunch of things. On top of it, I somehow, again, forgot that I need vents. So atmospherics of the ship need to be considered. And I did a bad job of that. Cheers. Putting some basic lights in. The aft of the ship is covered by the grav engine's lights, so I don't really need lights back here, but I will want lights everywhere else. Alright, Breakfire, you are idle. At this point, this stockpile, and eventually I'm going to add in shelving, of course, storage. But this stockpile is going to become the default stockpile for everything that is not food related. So allow all, not foods, and then also like no corpses, no chunks. And then this is on low, this is on normal, so everything's going to be moved into the ship. And that gives Breakfire some work to work on. Now let's get back to mining for a minute. Beggars hope for aid. Well, are any of you worth capturing? A misogynist that can't do violence, an asexual that is melee and art, no medic, and a teetotaler who can cook and no dumb labor? Not really. You guys can, like, hang out. I might use you as target practice, if anything. Because I wouldn't mind Liara getting a little bit happier murdering people. I'll wait until Marksman Command is off. Well, nah, let's just go now. Have your meal. Little target practice. Don't let him get away. Okay. One got out. It's fine. These weapons, of course, are going to, you know, we might want to keep from the slaves. So, critical that all weapons be put in there. I guess I only need 2 graves. Alright, that torch is ready to get broken down, and let's set up a new one over here. And construct is going to be higher priority than mining, so that we'll actually get this built. A bulk goods trader from the UDC. Cool. I don't really know if there's much for us to buy, but let's check it out. I will happily sell some of the leather we have. We really don't need it. Components, very mineable. I wouldn't mind getting some books, so we have a rec book and a harpsichord and IED book. Sure. Selling some of the old clothing, no problem. Selling the bedrolls that we don't really need, no problem. And that'll be good enough. Make these diagonal? It's not possible. Internal walls cannot be diagonal. It's not how the game works. The diagonal walls are only for the outer shell. If it has a substructure connected to it, it won't be diagonal. Which means that if I put a substructure here, this diagonal wall will turn into a non-diagonal wall. I'll just show you as a proof. So I understand your desire for diagonal, but see, it doesn't work like that. So anything internal to your ship will never have diagonal walls, unless, of course, you remove the substructure, and then it's not really your ship anymore. The diagonal is purely visual, and I'm sure you're aware of that by now. Now, another thing that this does not have is a research room. I am not going to fret about that for now, because this is just the first iteration of the ship, and we just want to get this thing off the ground. Alright, dismissed. I don't need you stomping around my kitchen. Yeah, it's pretty visuals, and that's all it is. Okay, we have a throne. The other thing that the throne room is going to need is columns and braziers. And braziers are a little tricky because braziers are like hot, right? And I'll build them last. And we'll need a harp too for a night ceremony. We have a damaged transponder. So someone landing needs rescue. They do have a unique 6-shooter here. A high-powered rounds pistol brace custom grip. So it's accurate and less accurate and accurate. But I don't think we're in the position to do anything like that at the moment. We're really trying to take off, so I'm not going to help some random that needs rescue. The other weirdness is the diagonal walls, because they're technically not walls, you can like build from the wrong side, as you may have just seen. Just the way it is. So we're still working on a... I'll probably wait for an inspiration to go for the... like a royal bed, to save a little bit on money. But we want a room befitting a knight, which would be something like this. And then, of course, I would like to tile it all up, which means I'll need a stone cutter for marble, because we have a little bit of marble. Oh, actually, we fetched all that marble. So, yeah, we need to fetch some marble and cut it up. And that's going to be true in both rooms. So, production... I never built a stone cutter, I don't think, so let's get the stone cutter table. I'll make it out of steel and put it here. Another thing to help Liara do a little bit of research. RM, I'm going to wake you up. And then Ink, if you are idle... Let's do another batch of rice. Guilty Ghost, thank you for the sub, the resub. This is a place to put our books. So what we're lacking here is chem fuel production, chem fuel storage, and the thrusters. And we'll get steel up from here, and there's loads of components, so I'm not too worried about that for what we need to build the rest of the ship. I'd also like to get an excellent bed, at the very least, for our leader. So, if I have to craft a few extras, it's not a problem. We got the wood. That's good. It's closer. Not quite there yet, though. It's gonna be like that, huh? Bed of 1,000 attempts. Well, maybe I'll let you come back to that later once you build more of the tiles, because it doesn't seem to be happening. So I'm going to go mine up a little bit of steel so that we can get the stone cutter going. And hopefully have Ink start making, once we have the biofuel refinery up, start making chem fuel and start making marble. Mama Did, thank you for the sub, and welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, he's on a roll over there. Alright, let's put you back on construction. And Liara is reading one of the books, so I'm actually getting some ID tech here, because she's just blitzing through the manual. The other thing I wanted to do is the reading policies. And Anything for Liara, and then novels for everyone else. No one else needs, like, research anything or skills. I'll dole out the skills, like, when I see fit later on. Alright, apparently I still don't have enough steel for that stonecutter, so back to mining. But ship's definitely coming together. Only a matter of time. Cheers! So in this ship stockpile, we're also going to want the package survival meals. And they're requesting 2 colonists. Yeah, forget it. Waffles, you'd have to be a god amongst men, and you're not, for me to even consider something like that. Sorry, UDC. It ain't happening. Let's make sure that the stonecutter table is the next thing that we do so that ink can work towards stone cutting rather than be idle. There we go. So bills, make marble blocks forever, drop it on the floor. And here we go. We're starting to get the infrastructure for power. And for chem fuel storage. Awesome. Now, our ideology doesn't really care about bodies. So burying bodies is like not a big deal. Leaving them out. Not a big deal. Once the ship is powered on, I will move the kitchen. I'm going to wait to move the kitchen until the ship has like a initial source of chem fuel. And Thomas J, thank you for the gifted subs. How's Odyssey going for me today? Pretty good. No complaints. All's well in this little neighborhood. Breakfire is going to start to mass hunt for meat so that I can turn the meat into chem fuel too. Now that we're about to get a biofuel refinery up, the other thing it seems like I'm going to need is components. I think I'm out. So RM, once done doing a little bit more steel mining, I'm going to transition over to component mining to get the biofuel refinery, because that's the next big thing to do. And now Ink's going to have a lot of work butchering up these corpses. I know that there's like a vulture here. Now let's push this vulture away. There. You're probably fatally bleeding. Oh yeah. Tail and eye gone. Oh, there's another one. I'll just set him to hunt. So we're going to get that biofuel refinery going. And then Ink will be able to do the stone cutting for the throne room and the bedroom. And then biofuel refining for the ship and power. And there it is. And then all I got to do is connect this to the other circuit, the one that has the wind turbines, and we'll be able to, you know, generate chem fuel. So I'm going to make chem fuel out of any meat, any veg. I don't really care. And once Ink's done with like cooking tasks, as we take a look at Ink's priorities, cooking, and then farming, and then chem fueling. So chem fuel is a high-ish priority. Am I planning on taming animals this run? You'll see. Asking what's going to happen in the far, far future is like, I always take it as a, and no offense, but I always take it as a, are we there yet? Kind of question, where it's like, yeah, we'll eventually be there. When, I don't know. Chickens. Speaking of animal taming, I don't want chickens, so Breakfire, can you just like tell them to go into the wild? God, there's going to be so many fertilized eggs. Well, the bedroom is just about ready for occupation. If only Aram could, you know, make a nice bed. That's kind of the hang-up here. So let's see if he can't crank out an excellent bed for Liara, and then Liara can uproot and live in ship. Because, right, she's a shipbound lady. She was born on a ship. She likes ships. She wants to be on a ship. A heat wave. Lovely. Great. How do you keep making normal ones? Like, what is this? Conspiracy against quality? So it's the 2nd of August. Oh, there we go, finally. 2nd of August, and we have a heat wave, which is really not going to be all that comfortable, I think. So at this point, I would like to do a knight's ceremony before we take off. That's sort of the plan and the goal. I don't know. I definitely need a little bit more chem fuel, or rather marble, before we bother with the chem fuel. But Ink's already going to do the chem fuel now, and the first batch of chem fuel is going to be for the chem gen here. So that I can power up the ship and have lights and start moving the kitchens in and the like. So, refuel generator. And now we've got air conditioning and a freezer going. And yes, this is unroofed. So it's a functional chimney. Which means our stove can move. Let's get a light in here so that it's illuminated. And then move the shelving. Because I did make marble shelves. There's no point in, like, breaking them. Move the shelving into the galley. The ship's galley. There we go. And we can also copy the butchery zone over. So this was a previous butchery zone. Copy and copy the text, delete, and put it in here. So when we kill animals, we keep them frozen. Or will be frozen. I might need more freezers for this. We'll see. It's not quite frozen yet, but it's also like a unprecedentedly hot heat wave at the moment. So it's a bad... It's not a really accurate temperature setting. So on this shelf, it's going to be all meat, but not bug or human. And on this shelf, and it's, let's say, important. On this shelf is going to be important for veg that is not fungus. This shelf is going to be the meals. And then these shelves are going to be the ingredients once they're built. Another hydrate. Cheers. Boiling the ship? A little bit. No, turkey? Yeah, I don't care. Microelectronics just got researched. Awesome. Let's go ahead and get advanced lights. That will reduce our power need for the ship a bit. It's actually not that hot in the ship. It's like pretty temperate. And our freezer's frozen. Perfect. That's what I like to see. So we're going to want the other chem gen up, which means returning to the steel mining. Because I think we're out of metals, and then of course we're gonna need the metals for the thrusters themselves. So we have a lot more metal need, steel need. There's not a lot of unmined steel here though, so it might be one of these cases where we have to mine up the valuable resources and then seek another map tile for steel. we are nearly out of steel here. Which is a good reason to build at least one thruster so that we can actually move. We don't want to use up all our steel and not have any steel left for the thrusters themselves. Okay, getting the other chem gen. That will help for when our power demands are over 1,000 watts. But I'm going to keep that unpowered for now because we don't need it immediately. We are getting a little bit of heat stroke. It wouldn't be necessarily a terrible idea to allow them to have, like, cowboy hats. So let's quickly throw down the tailor bench and tailor up some... Because, I mean, Liara and Breakfire already have headwear, but Aram and Ink do not, and I don't need them passing out for any reason. So, give them shade cones. I think that's more befitting of their station. Pigskin shade cone. And let's eject some chem fuel out of here so that I can actually power up this other one. Oh, no, never mind. We grabbed it. I don't have any good craftspeople on the ship yet. That's another thing we're going to want to seek out. So in terms of slaves, I'm going to set them up as slave clothing, and let's change their apparel policy. So non-tattered, non-tainted, and then we'll let them wear pants, button-down shirts, and then also shade cones. And by default, slaves have collars and straps. So they won't be taking off their collars and straps. Alright. We're going to have another rice harvest before we leave, more than likely. But it would be good for me to rely more on meat, which is easier to source on this map tile than veg. So we'll just keep hunting the easy things that don't fight back, piling up our meat for our kitchen. And Aram is done with all the steel mining, so construction is the priority, and then we'll I think we're done with compacted steel. I'm going to check. No, there's another node. It's over here, near the Ancient Danger. And I do intend to try to do the Ancient Danger before we leave. The caveat, however, is because it is a Rich Explorer modified start, we did start with gun turrets. So I'd like to mine up the plasteel that we have here and turn some of that plasteel into gun turrets before we go for the Ancient Danger. Because who knows what's in the Ancient Danger, but if it's dangerous and it can't be handled by the Liara and Breakfire, having turrets is going to be really handy. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Odyssey Pilgrim Ship, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow pilgrims.